Good afternoon. It is November the 26th, 2016. Can you believe that this is our last weekly weather briefing of November? And by the time we're doing our next one, it will be December. And so it's hard to believe that this year is almost over, but that also means that we're heading into winter, and we're going to go ahead and issue our first month of the winter's outlook. So that would be December. Meteorologists measure the winter months as December 1st through February 28th or 29th, depending on if it's leap year or not. And our first month of that winter will be December. And so we're going to go ahead and kind of look at what that could bring this coming winter. It could be quite different from the last 2 years that we have had as far as December goes. Focusing on this week, we had at least, let's see, a little over a half inch here at my place. We had 0.66 inches of rain, so we had any between 6 tenths and 7 tenths of an inch of rain. Some areas picked up more. We had parts of southeast Missouri and parts of southern Illinois pick up over an inch of rain. Some isolated areas picked up over an inch and a half of rain, so that was very much needed, but there still is a severe drought plaguing much of Kentucky right now, and we might erase the severe drought part going into the next upcoming drought monitor, but we'll see. It depends on how much rain we get with this next rain event that comes in on Monday and Tuesday, and depending on how much rain we pick up out of that event, looks to be the defined line on if we go from the severe drought back down towards the moderate drought, or if we go from the moderate drought or if we still stay in that severe drought category. So we'll keep an eye on it, but I'll let you know. Let's go into this upcoming week. Going into tomorrow, we are going to begin to see cloud cover increase as seen right here on the GFS model. We begin to see that cloud cover increasing going into Sunday afternoon. I think this is 12Z Sunday, so this is early Sunday morning. I believe that we will start to see some high clouds begin to roll into the area from the south and west going into Sunday morning, and as the day goes on, expect those high clouds to kind of work their way down into the atmosphere. So we'll slowly begin to see an increase in that cloud cover, and eventually by the time we're getting to the actual rain event, you can tell we're 100% covered in the sky with clouds. So we're going to have a lot of cloud cover to deal with when this rain event arrives. And we really had a lot to deal with the last couple of days. We had a lot of low-level moisture that was stacked under, so it caused a low cloud deck, and we ended up seeing several days in a row of some low clouds, and that also kept our temperatures down. We only saw temperatures make it out of the 40s on Thanksgiving. Also, we didn't make it out of the 40s for many areas in western Kentucky yesterday on Black Friday. And this morning, I was kind of worried about it, but we're finally starting to see those clouds roll out of the area. That low level moisture is working its way out, but that's also a good sign of the rain. If we already have a lot of moisture in place and it's hard to get rid of, then that means that we're not going to have to worry about any dry air overcoming this rain event as we go into the Monday and Tuesday time frame. Here's that event taking its place out westward. We see one area of low pressure pretty strong as well, but there's not going to be a lot of cold air for it to work with, so there's not going to be much snow, but on the very, very back edge of that system, on the very southwest, the very west, and very northwest corners of the storm. Many areas just to the north or northeast of that area of low pressure will not even experience snow from this event because of all the warm air that it is pulling in, warm, moist air out of the Gulf of Mexico waters, which are well above normal for this time of the year. We begin to see precipitation totals increase at going into early Tuesday morning and late Monday night. I believe that our heaviest rain will be falling Monday evening into early Tuesday morning, and then it will wrap out. I think that we will begin to see those rain totals increase throughout the day on Monday, and it will be kind of a light to moderate rain, but I think that we'll kind of have periods of heavy rain. It won't just be one particular hour or two where we have that heavy rain and then it moves out. We'll have waves of these heavy rain bands, and there probably will be some breaks in precipitation as well. This isn't going to be an all-day rain event on Monday. I think we'll have several waves flow through, but the GFS has also been very consistent on just showing a prolonged rain event for Monday and early Tuesday morning, and we could see some areas go 24 hours with rain continuing to fall. That would certainly be welcome, and we wouldn't mind that with our current drought index that we are in. That rain moves out on early Tuesday morning, probably say around sunrise to let's say anywhere between midnight on Tuesday towards 12 p.m. in the afternoon on Tuesday. Expect most of our rain to be wrapping itself out of the area. Colder air is going to be wrapping around the back side of that system, and we will begin to see temperatures drop going into Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures on Wednesday afternoon, some areas will make it down into the upper 40s to lower 50s, and we might still have some cloud cover around then. We'll have to keep an eye on it. This might be another event where we see that cloud cover stay around longer. I'll keep an eye on it. It certainly is possible. Going into this upcoming midweek, it was looking a couple days ago that we would have another area of low pressure, which is this one right here, but it was looking like it was going to be a lot further west, and we could possibly be dealing with wintry precipitation at one point if it came in at the right time of the day to cause that cold air to overwhelm the atmosphere and bring us to some wintry precipitation. It was looking like that could be a possibility, but now it's completely out of the books. I'm thinking going into Thursday morning. It was going to be a late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning type deal if that were the case, but it looks to not be affecting us at all. So if you're a summer or warm weather fan, then maybe you're happy now that there was at least a small percentage that we might see some wintry precipitation. If we were going to, it wasn't going to be much, just enough to fall out of the sky and probably not even stick because temperatures weren't going to be 32 degrees or lower at that time. But you get the idea. There was a chance there, but it wasn't even very big to start with, and now it looks like that is going to be diminishing out of the forecast. So it looks like we won't have to deal with any wintry weather, just some colder air moving in for midweek. Going into late week, we see high pressure begin to take control of our weather. The more east this high pressure system moves, it's a fairly weak area of high pressure. It will move eastward, and as it does so, it will begin to put some southerly winds into the forecast. And by the time we're getting to this time next week, that's when the forecast becomes quite uncertain. We've had some models predicting a snowstorm for next weekend, and some models that continue to do so. And we also have the GFS model that is pretty consistent on showing the system really just plaguing Texas with a lot of rain as we go into this upcoming weekend. And if that were the case, I mean, they need the rain as well in some areas of their state that are dealing with drought. But I want you to notice where this cutoff line of rain is. This is early Monday morning, 12Z. This will be our coldest time of the day. Temperatures at this time frame are looking to be 36 degrees, and the 32-degree line is not far from our area, and neither is the edge of the rain. So we're going to have to watch this. If this system nudges more northward and we see that colder air being pulled in, the stronger this system is, the more cold air it will pull in, but also the more warm air it will pull in. But we will be on the cold side of this system, no doubt about that, unless it just moves really far northward. There's still a week in advance of this system, so at least more than a week in advance. So we're still not certain about the details about this event, but I will let you know next weekend's weekly weather briefing the updates on this system. We could completely miss it entirely and just end up with cold air again, but I know some of you guys are really wanting that winter weather to finally arrive. Going into beyond the next weekly weather briefing, this would be on Friday, December 9th. The GFS yesterday was starting to show a big warm idea for the very end of the 384 forecast time frame. Now it's starting to lean more towards the cold idea. It is a cold-biased model. It loves to pull cold air in. It loves to put snow on the map during the winter and late fall months, early spring as well, especially for our region because there's always a lot of moisture to work with, so it loves to paint a lot of precipitation on the map, and more of it likes to be snow on the GFS model, and that is a hint that winter is coming. The GFS has been hinting at snow for the last couple of weeks, and it's beginning to show up on the model, and now that we're seeing it showing up on the model, that's just a sign of several other signs that winter is coming, and it is coming quick this year. And with that said, we're going to move into the upcoming December and what it looks like. This is the CFS V2 model. This is the CFS model, and this is what it was showing 30 days ago for December, a very warm idea. 21 days ago, it was showing still warm for the eastern half of the United States, but you notice the west is starting to cool down. And 14 days ago, it was showing that we were going to have still that warm idea, but the cold starting to break up, or the warm starting to break down in the west, and the cold starting to overcome those areas. 7 days ago, it was showing this, still warm in our region. 3 days ago is when things start to change. We see more average being controlled in our region than we do warm or cold. And one day ago, it was showing this idea. Once it loads, there it is, a very, very big flip in the model. And that means that it is becoming more likely that we'll see this idea. 30 days ago, when it was showing warm, we weren't for sure if that was going to be the idea or not because it was still October when that was the case. But now that we're only 5 days away from December 1st, it is starting to look more likely that we see a cold idea for December, and the models are starting to pick up on it. The pattern will favor it. We are going to start to see the GFS break. The GFS is breaking down the Pacific jet that has been so wound up for a long time. That is one of the reasons why we've had so much warm Pacific air flowing off of the Pacific into our region. And when that happens and it's very strong, you just get an overwhelmed amount of warm air flooding into the country, and we end up with temperatures well above normal. And that's the main reason why this November has been one of the warmest Novembers on record here in Paducah, Kentucky. And I'm waiting to see, very anxious to see how the month of November ends up being, because I will not be surprised if it falls in the at least top 10 category and maybe even the top 5 category. It really is going to start to depend on these next 5 days. We've started to have some cold above average days thrown into the month, but we also have a lot of above average days that overwhelm the cold amount. So we have a few more days to monitor this, and I will let you know in next week's weekly weather briefing and see if we have some maps available for you on what this December ends up being. This is the 250 millibar wind, so this is indicating the jet stream. This is very high in the atmosphere, several thousand feet above the surface, and we see what we call a southern jet stream. This is what is very favorable for our winter storms in the winter months here in our area. When the southern jet begins to kick up and it rises from the south, from the equator, when it comes out of that area, we begin to see more active weather in our region. That is another thing. We've really been quiet for the last several months. We're finally breaking that period, and we are finally going to be seeing some more precipitation moving into the area, which is very, very good for our area considering the current drought index that we're in. Looking at that December 2nd, the southern jet's still going strong, and it continues to go strong, so that means that more active weather is on the way. But now the further north that southern jet goes, it takes the active weather along with it. So that means that it'll be moving active weather still through our region, but we'll be on the warm side of some of those systems if they follow it. It only stays up there north of us for a little bit, then it begins to go back south of us, and we begin to see more favorable for conditions of a winter storm environment in our area. I think once we go into the first week of December, the first week or two, we're going to begin to see temperatures start to fade towards the colder side of things. But as we go into mid-month, I think that's when really winter starts to crank in our area. It's going to take a little while for that snowpack to build in the north and work its way southward. It can't just happen overnight with one good winter storm. I mean, I've seen it happen before, but I don't see that coming in the next week or two in western Kentucky. But I do see a very favorable environment for these winter storms, and that is what is going to be the key to December. The more snow we get from December, we see, cold breeds snow and snow breeds cold. They both go back and forth. When you get a lot of snowpack, it creates a cold environment. When you get a lot of cold, it creates a snowy environment if you can get precipitation in that cold dome of air. So I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys that about this upcoming December. I think we're going to have an active December, and I think that we are going to have above normal precipitation, above normal snowfall, and we will have below normal temperatures. I think that's very favored in the models. And speaking of the next 45 days, here's the CFS V2 for the next 45 days, showing in every single 4 of these ensembles that we are going to see at least more than 2 inches of snow in our region. This ensemble shows 2 inches or more, and the other ones show more than 10 inches in our area. Sorry about that. All the other ensembles, once this loads back, shows over 10 inches of snow in our area in the next 45 days. This would put us out to January the 10th. So we have several days till we get to that time frame, but that would be before the heart of winter arrives. And so before the heart of winter arrives, if we can get that much snow beforehand, that would be great. Here's the rainfall totals for this upcoming rain event. I forgot to show them to you. GFS is showing more than 2 inches, and the NAM model is also wanting to move precipitation into our area going into Monday morning and moving it out Tuesday evening. looks like we'll get a lot of rain from that. Have a good week, and we'll see you next